Hi, I'm Candice Ward from MWGUNSAFES, and today we're going to be talking about the Spartan Vaults by Fort Knox. So the Spartan Vaults are proudly made in the USA. They come in 7 different sizes. So when you talk about Fort Knox, you're going to a different level. So the Spartan series stands out as a first line of defense against home invaders. Why? They have a 3/16 steel body and a 3/8 plate door on the Spartan series. So this is where it starts with Fort Knox. So it starts with 12 locking bolts and it goes up to 14 depending on which Spartan you go with. Like we've talked about, you have the 3/16 overall steel thickness on the Spartan series. You have a 3/8 plate door on the Spartan. So you have a 50-minute fire rating at 1450 degrees. So the Spartan 7261 has 14 locking bolts, and then you go down to the Spartan 4028 and you have the 12. And it's kind of about half and half between 12 and 14, just depending on the size of your safe. So you can only have external hinges on the Spartan series. But when you go up to different series in Fort Knox, this is truly the most customizable safe that you can have. You can have internal, external. There's a list of options that you can have on the Fort Knox. So if you want it, pretty much that you can have it just depending on which series you go with. So you only can have external hinges on the Spartan safe. So you can do the hinge caps, which are an optional feature on the Fort Knox. I think it just gives it a little something extra. And you can do the lights, which are also an additional option, and the dehumidifier and the door organizer. So these are all additional options. You can do their bundle kit, which I really suggest. It's a couple $100, and you can have all of these things at it. Also, when you decide on a Fort Knox safe, you can determine what type of interior you want. This also makes it very different. So when you're talking about the interior, you can pick, do you want a carpet? Do you want a crushed velvet? What type of interior are you looking for? And that's what you can choose on the Fort Knox safes. So the Fort Knox Spartan series comes in the 4026, the 6026, the 6031, the 6637, the 7241, the 7251, and the 7261. So the Spartan 4026 is 40 high, 26 wide, and overall depth is 22. And this one weighs 560 pounds. The Spartan 6026 is 60 high, 26 wide, and 22 deep, and it weighs 750. So the Spartan 6031 is 60 high, 31 wide, and 29 deep, and this safe weighs 975 pounds. So the Spartan 6637 is 66 high, 37 wide, and 29 deep, and this one weighs 1160. So the 7241 is 72 high, 41 wide, and 29 deep, and this safe weighs 1325. So the 7251 is 72 high, 51 wide, and 29 deep, and this safe weighs 1455. And then the big one, the 7261 is 72 high, 61 wide, and 29 deep, and this safe weighs 1,575 pounds. So some of the exterior options that you're going to find on the Fort Knox, so the paint. So you have a high gloss paint finish, you also have the textured paint finish, and then you have the premium paint finishes. So the premium paint finishes are the distress, the two-tone, and the fade, which you can have on any of the Fort Knox vaults. So the trim color is also an option that you have. So you have the black chrome, the silver chrome, and the gold. So the lock options on the Fort Knox vaults are the mechanical, and then you have the electronic S&G, You also have the redundant lock, which this means that you have an electronic and a mechanical lock both on the same door. That way, if something were to happen, you were to be able to open either one. So, and then you also have the biometric lock. So I just want to say all of these locks are EMP resistant. They have been tested. The safe works as a Faraday case. So the locking mechanism is actually internal versus being external. So if you're worried about that, that is how the safe works. So the internal layout. So on the fabric, you can have the fabric either in the silver or the beige, or you can do the crust velour interior. So they have like a granite, a chocolate, a black, and a sand. So some of the interior options that you can choose from, just depending on which size you go with, are the universal configuration, which is just straight shelves. Or you can do the universal with guns, so you can have 3 or 4 long guns in that safe. Or you can do the 1/4 gun rack configuration. So if you just have a couple and you want to have shelves on both sides, that's an option for you. So you can have the half easy out gun rack configuration. So one side guns, one side shelves. Or you can do the half gun rack configuration. So this is the straight, like the normal straight shelves for guns with the shelving on the side. So you could do the 3/4 gun rack. So if you just have a little bit more than one side, you can have that option as well. So you can do the all gun rack configuration, which has a middle shelf going between the two. Or you can do the collector configuration. So this would be found in the larger ones, and it holds up to 100 long guns. So it's just one straight solid shelf. And then you can do the cabinet configuration. So when I tell you that they're absolutely beautiful, if you have just a couple guns and you want to have space for jewelry, everything else, this might be an option for you. So the last thing I want to talk about is the optional carbon steel liner that you can add to the Spartan safe. That is an additional feature that you can add to the Spartan series. I'm Candice Ward with MWGUNSAFES, and remember, as always, lock them up.